Welcome into another episode of Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by the man of many molds himself, Mr. Mike.
That's me.
Did you shoot something?
Shot a rubber band in the screen.
Well, speaking of something that will stretch and fling like a rubber band, I don't know. That's a terrible segue. We talked about earlier in the week, Clayface, mainly the Batman the Animated Series or two-parter or the series episodes, Feet of Clay, that was the inspiration kind of behind, or at least influenced the Clayface movie some.
Mm-hmm.
So go check that out. But what I also thought was it would be really cool this week, Mike, if we, replayed some of our old content then too that was Clayface related.
I think this is cool because this was way back in the day, and it was one of those where like I didn't know anything about this going in. And so this will be fun to re-experience.
It's old enough that you were still wearing masks. So you have a domino mask at the time.
That's great.
So I think it's like 2024, but here is our look at Clayface. I gave some history before, and then I know you're waiting. Hold on, and then we go into the one-shot Clayface One Bad Day, which is really good. And I think that there could be a lot of things that we see in the movie potentially from that then too. So just thought it would be great to replay some of this. But so here you have more Clayface breakdown and then Clayface One Bad Day, and then we'll be back in a second to close it out.
All right.
So going to give a little bit of history real quick, take a quick break, and then come back and dive into our story for the episode.
I have heard a lot about Clayface.
Do you know anything about Clayface?
I don't really know other than he's a big blob, right?
Okay.
I feel like he's
well.
Did you ever watch Gigglesnort?
That's something that's made up.
No, it's not. There's a show out there called Gigglesnort Hotel, and I would watch it as
a sequel.
No,
okay.
I would watch it as a kid, and down in I guess he was on different levels, but there was a mound of clay. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it came from, but there's a mound of clay in this hotel, and it would talk to people.
The hotel would?
No, the clay would.
But isn't
it'd be like, and they'd go, yeah, no, Mr. Clay, that's really so it was almost like a Boomhauer King of the Hill situation, where it just said stuff and people understood it, but you couldn't understand
like the Peanuts teacher, kind of like the voice you have for me.
And so it's all coming together, see?
Yeah, I see that.
And that's what I think of Clayface. Every time I think Clayface, I think that blob of clay that talks.
Okay, well.
Or a Dick Tracy villain.
Okay, I get that too.
Yeah.
When he first appeared back in Detective Comics number 40, which is man, it went to the wrong layout. I had that cool layout set out.
It was cool looking though. Either way,
we got
when
options, he first
man.
appeared back in Detective Comics number 40, and I love when I show things and Mike's just lost in his phone.
No, I was looking something up. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Oh man,
I was seeing if there is actually a Dick Tracy villain called Clayface.
Anyway,
there's a fly face.
As you can kind of see there, that's the first Clayface. His name is Basil Karlo, or Basil. Basil.
Wow, what a name.
Karlo. Man, here, let me full screen. Oh, it'll come up later. Anyway.
Welcome to our podcast about the English language.
I love how I know all this stuff, and immediately as we start recording, my brain just turns to mush, and I sound just like an idiot.
No, you don't.
But he is an actor, and a disgruntled actor, who is essentially killing people off of this movie set. And he's dressed as one of the villains he played in his old movie, in an old movie that was called Clayface. So he dressed as the monster, but it was really just an actor. And I'm trying to find...
Why is he disgruntled?
Because they're remaking his movie without him.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet that happens a lot now.
I didn't mean to flip through all of this. I could have taken it down, but there we go. It is... Yeah, Basil Karlo. Who is going to be
Carlo?
Karlo. Karlo.
Oh, so it's kind of like Boris Karloff.
Yes. That is where I think Bob Kane got inspiration from for the name.
Basil Karlo. Karlo.
That is the name of our Clayface in the One Bad Day story we will cover. And he is an actor. And so it does pay homage to The first one. There was a second. There's been multiple Clayfaces, just like with a lot of characters, how there are different iterations of it. There's been like, I know at least of a good 3-4 solid ones before we got into the 80s, because there's the Mud Pack, which I think is like 4 different clay faces that are brought up in that.
It's like the Rat Pack, but they all have clay faces?
They don't all have, but they were all like the villain Clayface at one point in time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes more sense. I thought there was just like this group of clay-based people that were evil.
I mean, kind of. Like, they're all Clayface in their own way. Like,
Okay.
so that Clayface at first was just an actor. The second one, Matt Hagan, which was a little bit later in the Batman run. I really need to just switch to that. There we go. As we get to look at him there. He was a like treasure hunter.
It kind of looks like the Thing down there at the bottom.
Well, what he can do, this Clayface, where the other one was just a actor who dressed up like one, this Clayface could like turn into any object.
So he's
right?
like a shapeshifter.
Yeah, so like he turned himself into into a snake. He turned himself to an eagle to fly away. Like he could shapeshift into things.
Yeah.
And he was a treasure hunter who talks about how he saw this strange pool, and when he swam through it, there was like some kind of protoplasm, I think it was, that like turned him into this, like once he came back to land, this like clay feature. But the more he thought about like what he looked like, the more he could turn himself like back into his human form.
Well, he's like
or
a
he
Pegasus.
could transform himself into
not a Pegasus, a Minotaur, right?
Yeah.
Is it a Minotaur where you're half horse?
He is a. I don't remember which one it is.
Or is that like bull?
I
don't know.
don't
That's
know
all right.
either.
He was half horse.
Yeah,
there
but
for
so
a
that
second.
was Matt Hagan. Then there was Preston.
You know, whenever I see a weird river, I immediately dive into it.
You immediately dive into weird rivers.
Well, he dove into a weird river and he became
well, yeah,
a clay
because it
man.
looked cool. He's a treasure hunter. He like explores. Like he was looking for.
Oh, yeah, that explains it all. That's why you take off all your clothes and jump into a weird river.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm making sure to get the names right.
I
real
do
quick
love
with
the
other.
origin stuff, though, because some of this stuff is just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, this is back, and then it gets retconned over the years, though, to be like
Oh,
more plausible
yeah.
for the generation it's in.
Well,
I guess.
You and I were just talking about that, about a character that came up in one of the past episodes that we were wondering about. It was the Joker. We were talking about the original origin of the Joker.
Yeah, we covered it on World's Finest World's Finest Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That essentially talks about that, and it's the comic that Alan Moore then took from For the Killing Joke.
Right, we did the Killing Joke, which
We'll redo.
We will redo it, but we were wondering about the difference in the origin, and you went back and looked, and you said that it actually pays homage to the origin in the Killing Joke, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so it was really cool to go back and look at that.
not
too.
everything has to be a joke, Zach.
So, also there was a Preston Payne, there was a Sandra Fuller.
Sandra Bullock.
But the two main ones, because also the Clayface that I know is from the Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
From the 90s.
Oh yeah. See, that's what I think of right there.
Yeah. And
big old melted blob.
what he was they kind of mixed the first two origins. And so he was Matt Hagan, but he was an actor. And then also what his was is there was in the animated series is there was an accident and there was this product that Ronald Daggett, which was like a, kind of businessman there in Gotham, sold him called Renew You, I believe is the name of it.
What a
and it was like
name.
this cream that would he could hide the scars and stuff from his accident, but he noticed that it could also help him move his face around and shapeshift. But the more he used it, the more he kind of became addicted to it, the more it affected his skin. Over time, it would
he
droop
became
down and
addicted
stuff.
to it.
Yeah, I mean, he would need more and more of it to be able to keep up
Yeah.
the appearance. I'm trying to remember. There's an accident because it all happens in a lab in an accident, and he kind of becomes that Clayface creature to where he can shapeshift into anything. He can kind of absorb. He absorbs in later iterations is able to absorb the power of people through it and stuff. But so
he would literally drop on people and take their powers.
He could. There's a Wonder Woman story I think because she's kind of clay based at one point in time.
Wonder Woman's clay-based?
In the George Perez redo of Wonder Woman, like Zeus made her out of clay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, that makes sense when you say it that way.
Yeah.
When you just say she's
I don't
clay-based.
know. I haven't read that.
So
I know that's like something that's been brought up. But he can kind of like, anyway, but he can like shift into like, he uses his clay to fight people, and he can turn himself into,
So how much alike is Sandman?
Well, Sandman doesn't necessarily like look like he's always kind of sand still, is he not?
So Clayface.
Well, I guess he can turn into his human form.
Yeah, he's what's his name from Wings?
Yeah, I guess at some point in time, like we talked about with Hagan back in the Silver Age, like he could turn into like any kind of animal and stuff, kind of too.
Thomas Hayden Church, right?
Yeah, in the movie.
Yeah.
Bad
movie.
I'm trying to see. It's not that.
I don't
They
like it.
tried to squeeze a lot into it. It's the worst of the
It's just too
three.
much. Yeah, it's too much. He's on board to like direct the next one.
Raimi?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
And it's because after the Doctor Strange thing, they were like, "Oh, that was great. Do it again."
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, I'm all for letting him. I just think he needs to make a like in Marvel. I mean, they've got a freaking vampire. They've got some weird dark arts stuff.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit he ought to be directing.
I don't know if
He could do weird shit with it.
I think they need to figure out something. They're concerned with bringing back things to get back on track to where they were before. I don't think they're ready to take any more big risk like that anytime
Are you fixing
soon.
to get Blade?
Well,
That's a whole different thing because you're and then now
I get that, but it's still stuck in development hell.
But I'm saying you got witchcraft. You now have vampires. I mean,
I'm
what I'm
not
saying?
yeah.
You're getting into a weird. Well, also you've got stuff happening in the cosmos.
Yeah.
It's not all happening on Earth. So yeah, they need to rein it in just a tad.
So, do you remember the whole kind of concept? I mean, I'm sure you do. That kind of, but of last week's Killing Joke, where it was all about all it would take was one bad day.
Yeah.
To kind of drive anybody to sanity.
Yeah.
And so they did a lot of one shots off of that for all the different villains, and I've read through every single one, but the Raj Al Ghul one, still couldn't get my hands on that between last time and this week. But still, they're
You just
all
can't
great.
find it, or
the
what?
Riddler. I mean, locally, yeah, no.
Huh.
But the Riddler's was really kind of just gritty and dark.
Yeah.
Penguins was a really cool kind of just crime story. I really liked. I enjoyed them all in their own way. Like Two-Face's was like a mystery that you might kind of see coming, but was still enjoyable in a way. Like, I know people rank them all and they have different things to say, but I enjoyed a lot of them. And I thought, what was another one that was really good?
Well, I mean,
Catwoman's was kind of heisty and kind of cool.
When you watch a James Bond movie, you know what you're getting, but you still watch it.
Yeah, but no. So I enjoyed reading through every single one of them. Like that's why, I read through them quickly. I enjoyed them all, so they're all good.
And tell me one more time what these are called.
It's Batman One Bad Day.
One Bad Day. There you go.
It's a villain. So there's Clayface. There's Bane.
Yeah.
Bane was a good one. All really good. And I thought it was the perfect way to kind of tie us into the scary season with October for our horror comics.
Heck yeah.
With Clayface's story, because it's a really good story, and it's a solo story by itself that is kind of just creepy and great in its own. And we're going to go ahead and dive into it right now, or I guess coming up after this right here on Bros, Foes, and Heroes.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Back to the show.
Welcome back into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. as we go ahead and continue our episode on Clayface. It's time to get into the story that we're going to cover today, and that is the One More Day one-shot. This is a story that takes place, it's not canonically, but essentially what you need to know before we dive into the story, Mike. And it's kind of brought up a little bit as we get into it. Let's go ahead and show, there we go, the cover for what we're getting into.
That's a cool cover.
It's a really cool cover.
Yeah.
What we
Clayface
have here,
is gigantic, though.
it is. So it's Batman One Bad Day, and it's the Clayface #1. Each villains was their #1
Gotcha.
for that issue. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing were the writers. Zermanico did the art, and then Romulo Fajardo Jr. I know I butchered that, and I apologize.
It's like watching a car crash like real slowly.
I know. I want to try, and then I'm like, it's gonna be bad, so I do apologize.
Well, I was
like,
impressed.
it's great. The whole the team that worked on it did amazing work.
I was impressed by Zermanico.
Yeah.
I mean,
thank
nice
you.
job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got it on the first shot.
Well,
Zeman Hanako or something.
So what essentially we're taking from the first part, like I gave you the backgrounds, what our Basil Karlo is in this instance of Clayface is that it's a mixture of the first two Clayfaces in a way, backstory-wise.
Right.
So it's Basil Karlo, who was the actor.
And they took the cooler name, too.
It is.
Yeah.
And he's been an actor for a while, but obviously, like, it's a similar, I would assume it's like a similar outcome of some way, shape, or form from like the Batman the Animated Series story of where he had an accident and things, it eventually drove him either the chemicals from what he was using, or there was an accident that turned him into Clayface, where he can like turn himself into anybody from like studying them.
He's kind of liquid, but he can become, or he can emulate.
And yeah,
almost
he's like
anybody.
like clay. Like he can.
Does he emulate things too?
So this version in the story we're going to cover, it's just people. So I'm going to say that, and sometimes like the Matt Hagan original one back in the Silver Age, like he turned himself into a snake. So I assume he could maybe turn himself into things too.
Yeah.
Also, I know you haven't watched the Harley Quinn animated series on HBO Max, but Alan Tudyk voices Clayface in that, and it's a comedic, like, think of like John Lovitz in that SNL bit, like acting kind of like character. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny in that show. But so it kind of mashes the origins of characters together. And we're introduced to a Clayface that is, I do love how because the story in a lot of ways has to do with LA a lot then too. And just
Los
the
Angeles?
culture, and just the culture, or in Hollywood, and just the culture out there.
Oh, because of him being an actor.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So it opens with like a script page of Clayface or Clay's apartment. Okay.
So that script page there, that's mostly white page, that's in the comic book.
Yeah, that's a page in the comic book.
Wow, that's cool.
And so it's just
I like how
a
it's
script.
spiraled on the side too.
Yeah,
Like
and so it's just like a script it would, and it like paces out what is sitting there happens, and it kind of describes the home.
That's a
from
great
a script.
device.
Oh, the way they tell this is fantastic.
That's a great device to use.
And then we see, as he kind of gives the history of, this is a Clayface that's already turned into Clayface, and he's been in Gotham for a long time, and he's dealt with Batman a lot.
Sure.
But he has finally decided, you know what? I'm done with that. I can be an actor. I used to be an actor. Like I'm a great actor. Yeah. Let me go pursue that life again out in Hollywood. And so we see like this amalgamation kind of different like pictures cut up of a face as he's just a pool of like clay there in the bathtub before transforming into, as he's kind of like introducing us to who he is, talking about that he studied at Juilliard and the years he spent at the Wayne Conservatory and everything that he played in, a lot of it being in Gotham and all that. And he's like, my name is Basil Karlo, and I'm here for the audition. As he's kind of using that amalgamation that he put together as like inspiration to turn into.
So that picture right there, well, minus the toilet, that reminds me of like.
Well, it's him in his bathroom.
Well, I know, but I'm saying it reminds me of like a Swamp Thing or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
it's got that same kind of formation.
He kind of like body-wise, the way they
Yeah.
build it, he does kind of have that
Yeah.
same formation. What we're introduced to, though, then, and it shows us kind of like I told you, of where he transforms into the picture that he had cut up, and now he is a character, or he is this new person out in Hollywood named Clay. Just, you know, he's Clay. Cut off the
Yeah,
face part.
sure.
Makes sense. We see that he's like a waiter with a lot of other people trying to make it up in Hollywood, or, you know, of the stories you see of trying to make it in Hollywood over their work at places, like reading for scripts and stuff like that. And we see that Clay has, I'm going to go ahead and switch so I can look to make sure I get the names right. Clay has a couple friends that work with him. One doesn't get a name, unfortunately, but the other two do.
Jeff.
One of them is Kat, is the woman that he works with, and then Corey, who we're going to see a little bit more. And he makes these friends while working there, and they're going to come up a bit later in the episode, but it's like the real people who like he connects with, because they're all out there on that same journey of wanting
Right.
to be actors and trying to you know, turn that into a profession.
Yeah.
So like each one of them talks about how
It's almost like a fraternity.
yeah.
Yeah.
So see, the top guy does not get a name, unfortunately. Kat's the girl in glasses, and Corey's the dark-haired guy, and they're all just like sharing stories of like, you know, where they're from, things they've learned, stuff like that. And it's the first friends that Clay feels like he's made.
Right.
Well, he finds out that while working a shift, he overhears that Corey is reading for one of the same roles that Clay is.
Uh-oh.
But they decide, hey, we'll both go and audition together. And Clay gives this impassioned speech, and I want to read it real quick. I know you're probably not going to pick up on it, but still, just some of it where he's like sitting there. It's this speech where it's like, you know, honestly, Janine, I don't blame you. Like, I have to admit, everything, but you're well within your rights. After all, I've been a freaking monster. Like he's admitting to being this horrible person, of just this crazy, like, just killer in a way.
Yeah. So he's almost giving a confession, but he's giving it as a soliloquy
To
or part of
his-
an audition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's giving this impassioned speech
Yeah.
to his wife. The name is funny, and you'll see the what it references later. It's part of the reason why I liked it.
Okay.
But he gives this whole thing, and after he's done, the casting agent just kind of like pauses and goes, "Oh yeah, no, really impassioned speech. Like, I could really feel what you're going for. Could you lighten it up though?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you mean lighten it up?" And he's like, "He's a comedian. Like, it should be funnier." And Clay, I'll call him Clay and Clayface, because it's the same.
Yeah.
Clay just goes, "But he's murdered people. He's been through all this tough stuff." And she goes, "Yeah, but it's also supposed to be about love too, like he and his wife." And he goes, "That's the biggest thing that's getting him over this hump." Like, he obviously has this image in his head of the way this direction of this, how this character should go, and it's different than what the casting agents are seeing. So they're like, "Okay, well, thanks for reading for us. We'll be in touch, or we'll let you know," kind of thing. So
It's
he
the
and Corey,
age-old story of, like, you know, auditioning for a thing and, you know, not getting it right because the producers are trying to make something for the unwashed masses.
exactly. So Corey and Clay go up to overlook the city, and Clay is nervous, telling him Corey's nervous, saying like, "Hey, they said that I had like a likable quirkiness, like maybe, you know, that's some kind of cool thing for me." And they're just talking about how it was, and Clay's just like, they just don't see the vision of the character, like they missed it, like they just don't, like he's just explaining of how like they don't understand what I see in this, they just don't get it. And Clay finds out, he gets a call from an unknown number, and he's answering the call, and Clayface, I guess sometimes when you just kind of like, the anger in him is just a little too much, or like his emotions become a lot, you can see like the Clay monster kind of come out a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like seeing the reptiles.
And he's like,
in
"I
the
have a
government."
vision," like talking about this character that he's reading for. And about that time, Corey looks back at him and tells him, "Hey, I got the part that we read for." And he gives on this whole spiel about how, you know, he never thought he'd have something, and finally it clicked for him, and he's so happy he got the role. And he turns back around to get reassurance from Clay, and Clay has morphed into Corey. and he just stares back at him until he walks over to Corey and suffocates him. Because if Clay can't have the role that way,
Yeah.
then he's still going to want the role.
He'll just be the guy.
And he tosses him in the back of the trunk. And I love how it does have all the like art cuts in there and stuff. So they're like smash cut too.
Yeah.
And we see him now looking like Corey as he heads on to a movie set.
Wow.
And he is there to read. And the thing I wanted to bring up and mention the name for Janine. Do you notice what movie he's shooting there then? It says, picture up in an hour. The Killing Joke, scene 31,
Oh, wow.
take 1, common Mark. And so the role that he's reading for is Joker's character in The Killing Joke.
Yeah.
See how he's holding the red hood there? And I thought it was a cool little like throwback to
That
the
is
fact
cool.
that it was supposed to be all of these one bad days.
Yeah,
So
it's
the
just
movie,
a wink and a nod kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the movie that they're shooting that Clayface is now trying to be in is the Killing Joke movie, which is funny because they did make a Killing Joke movie, which people don't necessarily care for too much because they added like a whole 45 minutes that doesn't exist in the comics to it. And Batman sleeps with Batgirl for no reason, and it's weird.
Gross.
But it's Mark Hamill as the Joker.
It's animated?
Yeah, it's animated. So while he's sitting there, and I'll go back and forth to the
Why would
comics.
they
and
add
then-
45 minutes? That's crazy.
Huh?
Why would they add all that time?
To make it like a 90-minute movie instead of just like
Whatever.
a 40-minute movie.
Just make it.
I don't know.
like
Maybe it's not 45, but there's
you
an
know what I
added
mean?
story
like,
to
like,
it.
just make it.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap now how long things are?
True. No, I mean, well, some people do.
Well, okay.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of daunting to ask somebody to be like, "Hey, watch a 2-hour cartoon."
Yeah, it's true.
For some people, I assume. I mean, I would do it, but so then he goes.
Do you
and
have a
they
problem
start the
calling it a
scene-
cartoon?
No.
Okay.
Should I?
No, I'm just asking. It just seems like reductive almost.
You're making me feel like
No,
maybe
no,
I should
no,
feel
no.
bad for calling it a
No,
cartoon.
no. I there's people out there that say, "Oh no, it's an animated feature or whatever," and they refuse to say the word cartoon.
You know people who just refer to them as animated features?
No, but I hear it happens.
I hate
don't
that
know,
excuse
man.
so much, the no, but I hear it happens. have I ever told the story? I mean, I won't get into all of it, but it was essentially like we DoorDashed food
Yeah.
and it was delivered to the wrong house.
Oh.
And I went to pick it up and I rang the Ring doorbell and nobody answered. So I rang it a second time, or maybe it was still on, like I could tell, the light.
Yeah.
And so I just picked up, showed the food, and I pointed at myself. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess I could have talked too.
Sure.
I think and I just pointed next door. I was like, this is
okay.
our food, wrong
Yeah.
house. Because they delivered it to the house next to us.
Yeah.
And then I got accused of stealing packages.
You're a porch pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
And
stole
I
your hot
just-
dog back.
And I just remember when my wife was talking to somebody there of saying like, oh no, like, have you had that happen before? And it was, no, but we've heard about it.
Ah, that's funny.
So,
Yeah, that's really good.
yeah.
Anyway, I didn't know if that was a thing, animated feature versus cartoon.
Not to me. I don't
Okay.
know. Anyway.
'Cause my
I
wife
don't
calls
mind
them
watching
cartoons, but she's always like, "You watching your cartoon?" I mean, that just sounds.
Yeah, no, I get that. Maybe it's
Well-
just the way you say it.
Well, I don't know, honey. Are you watching your shitty NCIS? I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, take that,
Boom.
NCIS. I
Yeah,
did it.
That's a shot across the bow.
Take
This will
that,
be the,
NCIS
this will be the
Hawaii.
episode they talk about when they bring up that feud we had with NCIS. So
Gary Cole hates us.
So Clay, now looking like Corey, goes to do the scene for the movie, right?
Right.
And he gives that view, that
But he's
same the way
not
he
Corey.
sees the character. It's not Corey, it's Clayface.
Right.
And he does the lines the way he did for the casting director.
Okay. All in like super sweaty and stuff.
Super sweaty and stuff.
Well, you know what I mean. Like he's really into it, like overdoing the lines and all that.
Well, but he's just like, he feels like this pain with it. Like he's like, it's just very emotional for him that he like reads through it. And the director yells cut. And like the woman playing the wife is like, oh, I thought we were pretty good. And he's like, no, you did great. I need to talk to you, Corey. Like now you decide to go ahead and take these reins. Like we need something more relatable. And he's like, what's not relatable about sadness? Like the shame he feels. Like, and he just like goes back and forth with him about this. And the director goes, okay, you're going to be one of those kind of actors. Fine. And he goes, everybody take 10. I got to call a guy about a horse. And everybody just kind of like hangs their head and just like
call a guy about a horse.
Weirdly walks off the set. And we see Basil now back in his trailer as he's starting to melt. And it says, "You're the horse, Basil." Like he knows like it's me that, I messed this up.
Didn't see a guy about a horse usually mean you got to go pee?
I don't think that it means. All right, I'm gonna have to look this up.
That's what
I
I
don't
thought
think
it
it's
was.
directed to that. See a guy about a horse. Okay, it pops up.
I got to see a man about a
See
horse.
a man about a horse is an idiom that means you are leaving a conversation or gathering without revealing your true destination.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it is because you don't want to tell people you were going to go use the bathroom.
In my stupid world where I grew up, my father would say that, and then he'd go off to do his dirty business or whatever. So I always associated it with I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I got you.
I got to go see a man about a horse. Yeah, I don't think it was pee though. I think it was the other.
Well, that explains stuff.
That-
the more I hear sometimes about you and your family, it explains a lot.
That goes right into the Clayface thing though. See? Big pile of poop.
No, this isn't Conker's Bad Fur Day for N64. Man, that took
Bad
me forever
Fur
to get back
Day.
through
What
that.
kind of reference?
I had a singing poo in it.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
That-
it did.
So just today,
Yeah,
we've talked about Conker's Bad Fur Day,
yeah,
and we've talked about Earthworm Jim.
that is true. We did talk about Earthworm Jim earlier too.
Those are two very old video games.
Oh man. So as it's one of the studio execs that kind of comes in, or maybe it was like the casting agent herself.
Okay.
That comes in is like, you're like, I can't believe you did that. Like after, I think it's the casting agent. Like after I took, this belief in you, you went ahead and you just pulled that stunt.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you got fired. I don't know if you're ever going to work again. I don't know what's going to happen to me. Like
They
she's,
fired him?
They fired him for
Holy shit.
yeah. And she's
You
like,
acted too hard.
She's like, hopefully if you find work again, you understand like how scripts work or how sets work. And he just kind of loses it and he suffocates her too, the same way that he did Clay earlier. And
Corey.
so what we have then is he steps out of the trailer
Yeah.
and he's now
Now he's her.
looked like her because she goes, "You don't understand." And so he's all like, "No, you don't understand." This leads us on a montage, and I love it says begin montage because it's very Hollywood,
Yeah, it's like the script.
right?
Yeah.
And it shows him moving from one person to the next person to the next person of different people on the set, just killing them off until eventually the director walks back on stage or to where they were to shoot to the scene of just carnage that's there from Clayface.
Yeah.
And Clayface looks at him and goes, "You're one of those directors. You don't help others. You don't help other people. You don't value the art. You don't see what I see. I hate you, Mr. Director. I was hoping you'd be last." And he goes, and I love you see the teeth there to kind of like eat him up at the end.
Yeah.
So
I didn't
now,
realize Clayface was so brutal.
well, he is in this story.
Yeah.
So then after he takes care of the director, he gets a call, and I believe the director is named Harry or maybe Max. I don't remember. It's Harry or Max. One of them is the studio head then essentially that calls the director that is now Clayface and it's like, "Hey, I need to meet with you." And so what happens is, as I sit here and switch between all my he turns into the director and he goes and sees the studio head, and the studio head's telling him like, "Hey, we're shutting down the Killing Joke movie. Like it's done. It's not happening." And he's like, "What do you don't understand? Like this is my masterpiece. This is my work of art. I just got rid of a lot of the staff. I'm recasting. Like it's going to be great. You got to let me do this. Like this is whole big passion project in a way for Clayface. Like he really wants to tell this story because he feels like he knows this story, being a villain from Gotham and looking for redemption. He knows this."
Yeah.
And the studio head is essentially tells him like, "Hey, I wasn't here when it got signed off on. We got this Gray Ghost franchise we're about to start, which is like a Gotham universe superhero. Like they used to do like old radio serials, kind of like the Lone Ranger and like comic books. It's like their version of
Yeah.
I think there was a TV show at some point in time, a character that Bruce Wayne, like as a kid, really loved.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So he's like, we have this Gray Ghost like franchise. The zombie guy, I guess, like talking about another franchise could help you back you up on it. Like, we can make it work and you can try your hand at that. But this this has no franchise capability. We're just killing this. Like, we're done with it. And he's like, and honestly, long-term North Star, we're doing it for the fans. And about that time, Clayface just, boom, like unleashes on the studio head then. And we see as he takes care of him and sees his lavish lifestyle that he lives, that is what he wants to take over then now. So,
can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead.
What does he do with the bones and stuff?
I don't know where he stores the body. No, because remember, like, I think he just suffocates them in there, and then he disposes of the body somehow. Because the body was always there on the floor of the person he just killed.
Yeah, that's true.
And he had Corey in the back of the trunk after he took care of him up on the peak of the hill there.
Yeah.
So he's now like this giant studio head who he's impersonating, and he throws this huge party inviting everybody. But he has 2 very special VIPs that he want to make sure attend because it's the only real friends that he's ever had.
Yeah.
And so we'll get back to our story. And so what it is it's Kat and the man without a name.
Oh, okay.
But the 2 waiters from earlier.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that were on his level. Like, he invites them there, and he's like,
right,
hey, I got you guys the invite. We're going to be, your VIPs tonight, all on me. And so they're sitting there, and, like, Clay, I think, has a thing for Kat.
Okay.
And Kat's just kind of nervous because she hasn't heard from Corey in a while.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm happy that, you're able to find success in this, but.
Your breath smells like Corey.
What is that? Walking around, though, I really loved this scene because this, to me, is when the story takes a turn. I like when they see that. So he's walking around, like, just to go find, I think, somebody else or get a drink. I can't remember why he leaves Kat up on the roof there of the building. But as he's walking, the assistant of the studio head who he was impersonating comes by and is like, hey, have you seen Mr. Silverman? Which is Harry. Have you seen Harry, Silverman? And he's like, no, I was just looking for him. And you hear another voice go, oh, I was too. Funny. And as far as I can tell, I flew across the country to meet him. And it's a man that's not even attending his own party. And about that time, Clay or Clayface, but in looking like Clay.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you? I mean, Gotham's on the other side of the country. He just realized, like, you're Bruce Wayne. And it's not a sense of, because I thought about reading this at first of, like, does Clayface know who Batman is? And it's not a sense of that. I think it's just a sense of general of Clayface has been trying to run away from Gotham. And Bruce represents Gotham has now followed him to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like him being that monster in Gotham. No, he was going to come make himself here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And now Bruce Wayne has showed up. But Bruce is telling him, like, hey, I just showed up to talk to him about this gray ghost stuff. If you, like, find him, just let me know. And that's where it says, like, it has the script writing in there. And it's like flashback. Clayface struggles to maintain his form as Batman, frozen fist crack into his chest. He's just having flashbacks of Gotham. Not because, to me, I don't think, not because Bruce is Batman, but just the thought of Gotham City in general.
Sure.
So this spells the beginning of the end.
Like you said, that's everything he wanted to get away from.
Exactly.
And it followed him there. Yeah.
This spells the beginning of the end for Clayface.
Okay.
And so he kind of, that's lovely. That's not what I meant to do.
Hey there, everybody.
And so he goes back up to the roof to see Kat, and it's not going to let me do it now. I love that. And while he's up there to see her, I guess let me show you guys the power of pictures.
Ooh.
He loses, like, all composure there, right? And so he sits there. He turns into the director. It's like, you're going to be one of those actors. You're an like, he's just, like, sitting there, like, beating himself up with the voices in his head of being of the actual people, like, he killed. And it's all like, no, you're not. You know exactly what you're going to be. Trash. And I love how it says, like, Clay voiceover, I'm not trash. And the script down there, I'm a star. So it's him, like, talking himself through it in a mirror. And he goes back then to see Kat. While he's up there seeing Kat, she essentially goes, like, where's Clay? We haven't heard from Clay in a while. Like, where is he? You know where he is, right? And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe he got that job, or I got that job. And she's like, he goes, I got that job. And she's like, no, Clay got that part. I think, like, she knows that, or she just knows that she hasn't heard from him.
Yeah.
And about that time, he's like, guys, I have to tell you something.
Wait, Clay or Corey?
Corey got that part, but I
Corey.
don't think she
Okay.
knows. I think I'm just interjecting in the story.
Well, she knows. I guess she knows that Corey got the job.
Yeah, but I'm just realizing she probably doesn't because he
Oh.
got the text and then Clayface just killed him.
Oh, okay.
But she does know. She does bring up the fact that like he's been missing for, like haven't heard from him in weeks, and he finally tells them like,
Weeks?
guys, I need to tell you, my name's not Clay, it's Basil Karlo. And Kat puts two and two together as the other guy's like, okay, that's cool. We all like change our name when we come out here.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you're you're Clayface. And then the other guy's like, oh yeah, you're famous. And she's like, you've killed people. Like, where's Corey? Where's Corey? And that's like, she starts like putting two and two together there of why they haven't heard from Corey. And so he's sitting there like trying to calm her down. And she's getting kind of loud, so the people down on the floor below, like partying, are like, "Oh, hey, what's going on up there?" Because he's getting all nervous and emotional, and like he's starting to lose form and stuff. And he turns into the studio head whose house they're having the party at. Like Clayface turns into the form of him, and goes like, "Hey, everybody! Like, hope everybody's having fun." And about that time, the other waiter like takes his bottle and breaks it, and like tries to hit through Clayface with it. And he just kind of like turns into clay, like the pool, and then like back into his form of clay. And he looks, and Kat is like in tears, calling 911, showing him like, I've called the police here, like you can't get away with this.
Right.
And so Clayface, now having everything crash down around him, not being able to portray the vision he had for this character, not wanting to see, or not having anybody recognize the vision he had, and it's all the way up. It's not turning out like he wanted to at all in any of this.
Followed him there.
Exactly.
He failed at getting the role. He failed at being a friend.
All of it.
Did all of this stuff. Yeah.
It's all too much for him.
Yeah.
And so he's like,
can see
everybody, like, I'm everyone. Like, it's my turn to finally have something. And so he like runs away. And I love the art in this. He just runs away from the party there.
Dude.
Yeah. But eventually, because he like sits there and he goes, why is it raining? Why did you bring the rain? Like thinking of Bruce, like with Gotham City and bringing it there to him. And he has this whole thing of like everybody smiles, but they're not smiles. Like it's just knives, it's daggers that cut through me. There's some really great words and stuff just written through it. It's a really well written book.
Right.
I'm just, I recommend reading it. It's so good.
So this is his one bad day. All of this stuff crashing around.
This is all, this is essentially kind of all like
Okay.
one. I mean, it's more than a day, but like
right. I get you.
yeah.
I get you. But it's kind of symbolic for everything coming
Exactly.
to a head at one time. Yeah.
And so he's
why
like,
does the rain not melt him?
it kind of, in some stories, he does have like where water like bugs him, like it can. In
I would
others,
think
he
so.
doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, he's made out of clay.
Yeah.
Clay's
Electricity
just
does
dirt.
too. I think mixing the two probably.
Electricity
water
and water?
Yeah. I mean that
Yeah.
hurt anybody.
Yeah, it would hurt almost anybody. Yeah.
But and so he's sitting there telling him like, the city. As he sits there and gives this whole dialogue, it's like the city is just filled with nothing but fake people.
Yeah.
Like nothing sees the vision I have. Nobody wants to be real. They want to be dark, but not not too dark. They want to be sexy, but not too sexy. Like they want these things, but they don't want these things. He's like, it's all. He kind of does.
I was just gonna say you got to put a little bit back on yourself there, Clay.
True. Well,
Because I mean, you came to this place looking for the same thing you're now bitching about.
that's true. Well, and he sits there and he goes like, everybody wants to be something else. Everybody wants to pretend to be something else. This city deserves me, is what he says. Like I belong here.
It's acting.
And that is then when Batman just kind of off panel is like 9 people is what he tells them.
Yeah.
Like essentially like that wasn't your, and
Holy
I love
shit,
how
that's
good
cool
he
looking.
looks there. But he's like 9 people in one day. So the one day is the set to tonight.
Yeah.
And he goes, nothing else matters. He's like, that wasn't your story to tell. That's their story. That's 9 people you've killed.
If I could get just a still of Batman like that standing in the rain, all cattywampus, I would put that on a wall.
That looks really cool.
So freaking
I love
cool.
it's the middle of the spread, so it's a 2-page spread
yeah.
of Clayface looking at him too, as he does just kind of like drip off.
Yeah.
Like the art throughout this whole thing is absolutely fantastic.
I guess it would take a lot of water to just completely melt a big solid clay
Oh,
lump.
yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of probably make it more malleable, I would think.
Yeah. or at least the outside.
So the two of them fight. They have a little bit of a skirmish. A tit for tat, a Donnybrook, if you will.
A Donnybrook. You got to do this whenever you.
Batman is able to, while they fight, use this little like invention of his that obviously is electricity based that kind of vacuums up Clayface.
Oh, that's why you said this.
Yes. See, while he sits there, and it has the script instructions of the fade to black as he sucks them all in there. He's like, all the things you talk about, like the lives that was their story to tell. You trying to do that, you're just acting.
Is it like the Ghostbusters thing?
It kind of is like the
sucks him
Ghostbusters
into
thing.
a box.
And you see his eyes, though, they're peeking out through the bat symbol still.
Yeah.
And then we get, and I love the way they
Those are
shot this
gorgeous,
again,
too.
interior Clay's apartment night. White walls and gray carpets. Like it starts off the same way it does, but instead you see all these people just working around and somebody like typing a script on a laptop, and it finishes like this place could be an asylum. Like the Clayface story is being written into a script already. It's kind of what it leads to.
Yeah.
And then we close out our comic, and I really love the way it closed this out. So, like, I mean, obviously it's spoilers to everything.
Sure.
Well, by the time we're at this point. But we get a nice 2-page panel of Gotham, and then we get, you don't believe me. Of course you don't. Huh. Honestly, Janine, I don't blame you. I have to admit it. But you were well within your rights. It's the same monologue the whole time.
Yeah.
The one that he gave the audition for, the one that he did on set, and now it's here again. And he goes through it all, and it's like, all because I thought I lost you. But I didn't. Not if you take me back, because the only thing stronger than depression is love. It's blue skies ahead, Janine. This is just one bad day. And it's Clayface, but he has like the face of Clay, the character. Yeah. And you see all these little just kind of like legs just peering off of him. And you see like it goes off to all these different branches, and he goes, it's still, I'm working on it. Do you have any adjustments? And then he kind of turns into more of the Clayface monster, and he's like, I'm not precious. I don't want to be one of those kind of actors. Like any notes at all, I'll take them. I'm very open to feedback.
Oh, wow.
And it just ends of him obviously feeling guilt for the 9 people like he killed there.
Yeah.
As you see, those are the 9 people that he's kind of like turned into beings watching him give this very heartfelt, emotional monologue.
Aren't there 10 people there?
9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 people.
So I wonder if one of
maybe
them
there's somebody else at the party, or maybe one of the people is Clay.
That's what I was going to say. I bet one of them is him.
Because, I mean, you can go through when you look at the comic and you can make out other people that you see there.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
or maybe it was somebody in the
Clay
Donnybrook from earlier.
But, I mean, Clay was a creation of his anyway, right?
That's
I mean,
true.
He's not really that guy.
Nope. But
so that would be 10.
So there you go.
That's very cool. I like the ending.
And there you go. That is Clayface One Bad Day. I thought it was a really good just kind of villain Clayface story, but also a very creepy element and just kind of a cool story in general to it all. It's really good. I recommend going and reading it for yourself, recommending any and all of the Bad Day one-shots because they were all really good. Next week.
That ending, before you get into that, I'm sorry. That ending reminds me of the movie The Thing.
Yes.
Like it very much looks like that head that comes off of the guy and starts crawling around and stuff. It's very cool.
Very much.
So like if you're listening to this, just picture that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you're watching it, I don't have a picture of it, so you can look it up after
you
that.
had one up. It was great.
Well, of the other thing, but not of the thing that you're talking
go watch
about.
The Thing. I don't know.
There you go.
All right, so there you go. That was us. I'm sure there was probably something dated in there that I didn't think about. I probably should have done a better job and like gone and actually listened through it and like edited it, but I didn't have. I don't know if you ever wore that mask on the show.
I don't think I
There's
did.
one of them in the box. But so if there's something wrong, I do apologize there. I could have, it's been hectic, but I thought that, we could rebrand the content and get some more views out there.
I agree.
Thank you, Frankenstein, for joining me as co-host.
He's kind of a Clayface looking thing.
A little bit. I get that Basil, like Boris Karloff. Is that who did?
Oh! I wish his mouth moved, but still.
Yeah. He looks. That's okay. We can stop with that. But thank
My
you
mom always
guys.
told me not to play with my eyes like that.
Yeah, she did. Thank you guys as always for watching, for listening, for subscribing, for all the things, everything that you do. We appreciate it so
Yeah.
much. We couldn't do it without
Yeah,
you
it's
guys.
very
So thank
cool.
y'all very much. And until next time, stay safe, everybody.
I just want credit for the fact that I had a mask laying on the floor next to me.
You get credit.
Golly Khan.
Digging the flicks since the age of 6. Digging my kicks, digging on the comics.
This is a Rogue Media Network production.